Hope you're all okay. Welcome back to our YouTube channel and our New Zealand series.
So for this episode, it is actually our 100th episode.
Whoop, whoop, whoop.
So we cannot believe we've actually done 100 vlogs on this channel, but we have been all across the world and we've been able to share our memories with you guys. So for this episode, we decided to do some of our favourites.
Some of the trips we've done are before we started this YouTube channel, so they will be first for you guys.
We have been together for 8.5 years and we have been travelling for the entirety of that. Some of them little holiday getaways, some of them beach getaways, some of them travelling on a working holiday visa. We've done travelling around the UK, there's been a lot. So we are bringing all of that to this vlog. So our first ever holiday was actually 6 months into our relationship.
Started strong.
Started as we meant to go on.
Absolutely.
And it was to Budapest. I actually think that was your idea.
Yeah, it's somewhere I've always wanted to go and I thought why not? I'll have that experience together.
We went for kind of a long weekend, didn't we?
Was it 5 days in the end?
We went for New Year's. So I've never celebrated New Year's outside of being with family. So that was a first for me, and we went for a few days, we did some travelling and we experienced New Year's there for the first time. I remember the very first night we went for a walk. Once we'd landed, we checked in, went for a walk along the river and just got to experience the city all lit up. And because it was our first holiday together, I think it was very much like, oh my god, wow, like
Special, wasn't it?
yeah. So that was our first night, and then I think over the next few days we did Parliament Building with a few lookouts. We did ice skating on a lake, which was magical.
It was a bit edgy because it was like, it wasn't flat like an ice rink. There were divots.
Oh, it was just the lake, frozen over.
Yeah, it was quite the experience, but that was by a castle.
Yeah.
And then there was Margaret Island, which was
my personal favourite.
Absolutely, I think I'd share that with you.
Started that trip by trying to get to Margaret Island, of which George would not let me have the map.
I was Map Man.
And proceeded to take us thousands of miles north
What's
of our
quite thousands.
actual location. When we got on the train, blue skies, everything's fine, got off the train, and there was a few inches of snow. It had snowed and had stopped. That's how far north we went.
It was underground, so we had no idea of weather. It was like Beck says, you go in and it was one weather, and you come out and it was, as Beck says, we went all the way to Russia.
So now George is not allowed for that. And that was our first holiday.
Then on from winter holiday to the next holiday, which was the next summer, wasn't it? Which was, we went to Rhodes Island in Greece and stayed in a place called Falaraki, which was just south of Rhodes town, wasn't it?
That was very much your all-inclusive 2-week getaway from the UK. That was probably our most traditional holiday we've ever been on.
Yeah, I think our only traditional holiday we've ever been on.
I remember going to the town, the old town, and seeing the ruins and the little markets and things, and we would participate in the activities at the hotel and play the games and things, so that was good fun. I think the main event from that holiday was Lindos.
Lindos was absolutely gorgeous, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Some old ruins, an old pantheon that had crumbled down over the years, right on the top of this hill, overlooking the sea, which was a gorgeous view, wasn't it?
Stunning views from there, and just the little streets.
Yeah.
All enclosed in, just all white and then brick. It was really pretty.
And we also saw the waterfalls that day as well. We rented a car out, didn't we, for €25 and insanely cheap for the day.
Yeah, that was technically our first call.
Yeah. And then the third was a surprise that I got for Bex while we were still at uni for Bex's 21st, which was a week's trip to another all-inclusive, another traditional holiday, and that was to Sunny Beach in Bulgaria.
Mm.
So that one was, I think we needed a getaway at that point, and we actually nearly missed our flight. That was when we got the train, and the trains were all delayed.
We got the train to Manchester Airport, and all the trains were delayed. and we ended up getting a taxi with some random people who ended up paying for the taxi. It was very kind of them.
Yeah.
I think they thought we were young and stressed. We were very stressed. We stayed in this huge hotel, which was all golden and shiny, and it backed right up onto the beach. And it had a whole pool area and outdoor area in the back, and then you were kind of one street over from the beach. That was lovely. Favourite part of that holiday was the match scooters.
One thing we've learned over the years is we love a rogue mode of transportation, whether it's chuckle bikes in Budapest or mad scooters in Sunny Beach.
And we did end up seeing some of, well, one of your friends, didn't we?
We went to a water park with them
Yeah, and we did the floaty thing.
where you got
Oh, I flew off.
trajected into the air.
I will never do that again. Lesson learned. Takes it off, one for the books, never again.
It's on the back of a speedboat, a massive rubber dinghy, and you're all sat there and
Well, it was your friend.
going around corners.
Bounced and sat onto my hand and it hurt, so I let go of the handle and went pop.
She must have got about 10 feet above our little floaty.
But then smacked right down onto the sea.
And by the time we'd got him to stop, we turned around and we were half a mile up the coast. We were absolutely flying.
Gone. If anyone's fearful of deep waters, that was my moment. And then I think from that point on, we kind of realised how much we enjoyed travelling and how much we enjoyed being away and exploring new places. So that led to the huge travel plan,
Yep.
which was 22 places,
Yeah. 7 countries.
23 flights, all different modes of transport. We had ferries, we had
Planes.
trains, all sorts.
Yep.
And that was going to be Thailand, Vietnam, Philippines, Bali?
Not at that
Not
point.
Bali.
Singapore,
Singapore,
Malaysia,
Malaysia,
and then New Zealand.
Australia, New Zealand.
Yeah, finishing New Zealand, wasn't it?
Yeah. So we were going to do a big one and we had it all booked.
Paid for the whole thing.
Pretty much. And then, trigger warning, COVID-19.
So that was how long were we planning on going for? Was it 4?
It was 5 months and we've got spreadsheets on spreadsheets. We've got everything booked, planned out. We knew what we were doing in every single place.
It was a 2-year in the making plan from when we first made that spreadsheet to finishing off the final booking. And then we finally said we'll sit down and book it. We booked it all out over a couple of weeks, I'd have said.
Months.
And then finally booked the last one, and then probably not 2 months later.
We booked the last of it in the February, and in the March we went into lockdown. So that scuppered all of our plans, and that whole trip was cancelled. But due to lockdown and due to not being able to leave the country and restrictions on this side of the world, that led to us starting the YouTube channel with the UK series.
So UK series was all manner of locations and all manner of different kinds of accommodation. Our first trip in the UK was up north to Durham. That one was a caravan park in a place just north of Seaham.
Blackpool Colliery.
Went to Durham for the day and rented a little rowing boat down the river in Durham.
I had a great time. I just sat back while George did all the rowing.
Realised we could only go so far as there was a waterfall drop.
We did lots of different trips in the UK series. We did Weymouth and Port Reeve, Cardiff, and then the last one for the UK series was the Lake District.
That was in a Shepherd hut, wasn't it?
That was in a shepherd's hut, and first thing George did was break the table off the wall.
About 10 minutes in. It was a fragile table, I may add.
We did struggle to find that because we got there at night and it was behind a pub and we didn't realise. We didn't ringing them like, we can't find you, they weren't answering. It was, again, a little bit stressful.
It had its own hot tub that you had to heat up yourself using the log burners.
Which took a good long while.
3 hours, it was basically lukewarm water by the end of it because we gave up. I think that was the trip for me that instilled this love of the Lake District. We've always gone back there 3 or 4 times.
Well, it pushed us onto the campervan series.
It did.
Because we thought to ourselves, what an amazing experience would it be to wake up to the lake one morning and your campervan just open the door and there it is.
So Bex spent the next couple months from that series looking for campervans, seriously sniffing out different deals and
I did.
ones that were out there, and she just said, George, what do you think about this one? And there was 3, I think, but for different reasons you kind of said don't fancy this one for whatever reason, and there was just this quaint little Ford Transit high top
Called Daisy.
which was named by the gal that made it and built it from scratch.
She renovated it. She bought the van and then she did it all up, and we bought it from her. But yes, we absolutely loved Daisy, and we got to go to so many places with her and really made the most of it.
So we did Peak District, the Lake Districts, the Yorkshire Dales, all loads of national parks in the UK.
Shrewsbury, Sheffield. The only reason we got rid of her was because we were leaving the country, and we would definitely do that again. We've considered doing that in New Zealand, haven't we?
It's the place for it, I think.
For sure. However, one particularly hairy moment was, it was the
Lady Bower one.
it was the Lady Bower trip, and we parked up to go to, there was a lookout overlooking Lady Bower Reservoir. We drove up there, parked up, did the lookout, come back down, went to try and spin the van around in this little driveway, or in this little turning area, but there was bricks, like huge bricks at the bottom of this turning area, and because of the weight of the van and the hill that it was sat on, we pulled in and then tried to reverse out, and we could not get it out. We could not get it to reverse up this hill, and it was just getting closer and closer to these big bricks, and I was panicking. George wasn't feeling particularly well, so I was trying to get it out, but we ended up having to, you needed to get it, and it just was pedal to metal, like
Just gave it some, didn't we?
just floor it, and eventually we did get it out and get home safely, but oh my god, that was a hairy moment for me.
The reason we had to get rid of Daisy was because we planned to move to Australia.
So after the whole debacle with booking the huge travel plan of 22 places over 5 months, and then that went to pot, we decided, you know what, if we're going to do it again, we're going to go for a long time, we're going to do it properly, and we're going to head to one place and stick, and we're going to travel out from there. So we decided that we were going to head towards Sydney and give it a go and just see what happens.
It's one of our favourite, if not favourite place we've ever visited, I think.
Sydney is magical, and I remember our first week we went to Wildlife Zoo in Darling Harbour, and one of the first things we did, you went into this kangaroo walkabout area, and they said these are all the females, they're very docile, they're very friendly. If they come to you, you're welcome to kind of give them a little fuss, give them some attention. If they wander off, they're not interested, so just leave them be. So that's what we did, and we ended up meeting the gorgeous little kangaroo called Julie.
Oh gosh, yeah.
And she was super friendly, and she just wanted cuddle and would not leave. So we did not leave. That was our first week, and that was insane.
Yeah, it was. It was all brilliant from there.
Some of my family came out for a visit, and we were lucky enough to go and see a show at the Opera House with them. That was an orchestra, which was absolutely magical. We had an amazing time, and it was really special to go do that at the Opera House while we were there.
We'd done the Opera House tour about the day before they landed, and then we went to see the Sydney Symphony Orchestra with some famous Australian pianists, which it was spectacular.
Which, on that same trip, they decided they wanted to go out to the Gold Coast.
That was an amazing trip as well.
Which we joined them on.
Can't say no to that, can you? Yeah.
We stayed at this Airbnb. How many floors up?
33. That's etched in the memory.
I loved it. I thought it was great. We had an amazing view of the coast. It was, the skyscraper building that you see when you look at the Gold Coast, when you see footage or photos. It's all these huge buildings, all this massive long coast, this beach. I thought it was amazing. Bucket list opportunity, and everybody else, my family and George, would not go near the windows. Backed right away.
The windows were floor to ceiling, so you couldn't escape it. There was no block from the view or the drop. You could see right down.
Perfect.
I had a balcony, which again, more view of the drop.
You just get closer to it.
And yeah, like Beck said, it was about half a mile down the beach from the Q1 building, which is the tallest building in Australia. We went into Brisbane for the day as well, and had a day on the river in Brisbane.
We also went to Cairns for about a month, so we got to do the Great Barrier Reef. We did a couple different trips there, and again up into the rainforests. We got the train all the way up and then gondola back down. Some of the views from there were amazing. We got to see crocodiles and turtles and waterfalls. Stunning. But highlights for Sydney when we came back from Cairns, this skydiving,
Yep.
which again George was not a fan of the idea, but we had an amazing time.
Yeah, we
and
did.
It was definitely worth doing, even though because it was a cloudy day we didn't get the best view, but it was still amazing.
It was.
And also climbing the Sydney Harbour Bridge. We did that very close to the end of our time in Sydney, and it meant that we knew a lot of what we were seeing already because we'd been there.
Just see all the way out to Bondi, didn't you? Which was insane.
So we really enjoyed that, and we were right in the back of the group, so while everyone was getting their photos we could just take it all in, and we found it really calming, which is really weird.
Yeah. The helicopter tour in Sydney was
Another good one.
yeah. But that was another great trip.
Great way to see the city.
Yep.
And then we ended up going home for a little while. We went home for about 8 months, saw some family, caught up with people. We decided when we were in Australia that we wanted to give New Zealand again. So we started putting that plan in place while we were still in Sydney, and we started in Christchurch to Sheffield for Sheffield Pie, out into the mountains.
Arthur's Pass, Akaroa.
We got to go on a boat tour. We went on a dolphin tour. We didn't see dolphins, so
Saw seals.
we still have that one to go back to, but we did see some seals before we ended up getting jobs in Auckland, and here we are.
Highlights for here. We feel like we've done it well, but there's something big things we want to tick off. But I think so far, your birthday surprise for me, which was the eco safari, and we got to see dolphins and orca, which was a bonus.
Huge bucket list item.
Yeah, which we were surprised at. We went in with no expectations, and yeah, we got the whole shebang. It was a phenomenal trip.
We've even managed to get out on day trips to Hamilton. We've done lots there. We also went out to Coromandel and did a few bits there. And we've still got so much to do, so many places to go. Still so much to do in Auckland as well. We had that amazing weekend away up north towards the Bay of Islands.
You found that again, a lovely Airbnb where we pretty much got the whole estate to ourselves and had a private helicopter tour over the Bay of Islands, which we didn't think would be on because weather permitting, and had the hot tub go in, and just this whole stunning estate with bushwalks, just very natural, very peaceful, everything there to completely relax you and switch off, which we needed.
For sure. But yes, lots to do now still in New Zealand, lots to do in Auckland itself. And yeah. So that is the last 8.5 years for us, all our travel adventures and some of our favourite moments. We generally don't have a plan of more than a few months because we can't predict what's going to happen or where we're going to be, which is the situation for us right now here in New Zealand. So we have no idea what's to come, but we will be sharing it with you guys.
Thanks to those who have joined us along our 8.5 year journey. Wherever you joined us, we really appreciate it. And for those who are about to join, welcome. And here's to the next 100 episodes with us.
So that's all from us. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you very soon for the next one.